I'm telling you, this whole entire world is due for a massive shake-up. A massive shake-up. I'm not talking about World War, I'm just talking about a complete and utter overhaul of the nonsense that has been instituted in our society. First of all, technology. Okay? What's happened in the last, let's say 40 years, but primarily in the last 20 years it's become a big problem, is computing. Now computing in and of itself was fine when it started out. It was a sideline thing, it was an industrial thing. If you had a home computer, you were an enthusiast. And then it became the case that people could have games machines. But you didn't really need to be a technical wizard to use that kind of computer or a home computer eventually. It was made easy for you, right? And it wasn't in your face, it was very simplistic. But in the last 20 years there has been a massive, an incredible problem which has emerged, okay? Now, broadly, these New World Order jokers have inculcated I don't know how to put this, a way of being in our society, which is they were trying to make everyone stupid and subservient and controllable. So they threatened people, they tried to stop them having freedom of speech, they came up with all these stupid little minority groups which didn't ever exist, so that everyone's a victim. Now they're trying to tell everyone that they're stupid. Oh, you're on the spectrum all the time. How many people have I got to hear say, oh, I'm on the spectrum? And I'm like, no, you're just a person. You're a bit kooky. Shut up and get on with your life. So these people have literally tried to make everyone stupid and controllable. And they also have their sticky fingers in computing. Because everyone has a home computer of some description nowadays, these guys are like, oh, we can use that to control people. Now, most people are not computer literate. They are simply users in the same way as they have been told that they are consumers. No, they're not consumers, they're people. Okay? The whole of society now is run not by individuals who have power and authority, who you can see. It's run by committees in the background that you never see, you don't know about, and then they pay for governments to be... They bought the people that you see as your governmental leaders. All of the discussions you see in Parliament or Congress or whatever it is, they are highly unlikely to be completely authentic. Because anyone who's completely authentic is seen as a risk and they are shooed out of the door. Okay? So what we've got is a completely blind, false system. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And this has to be, must be, and shall be resolved. This rot has been creeping for years. So the whole thing needs to be basically scrapped, overhauled, and redone. And that's going to take people with courage and intelligence. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I have had it with this technological thing where people are being encouraged to depend and rely upon technology. It is dangerous. First, it encourages people to be stupid and dependent and non-thinking, which makes them also feel that they need to be dependent on things like the state instead of being independent and responsible people. Okay, that's dangerous for society, and the more that happens, the more the people who are running this nonsense are like, yeah, we can get more and more and more people to feel stupid and to be stupid and to act stupidly and to be irresponsible and to be dependent, and we can control them even more. And this is not accidental, this is intentional, and it's disgusting watching it happen. I spoke to a guy today, he was like 50, and I mentioned something to him. He's like, I'm on the spectrum. I'm like, oh, here we go again. And he was a perfectly normal guy. And he's like, oh no, I've got ADHD. Well, I think I have. And my daughter, I'm sending her to get tested. How many people do I have to come across nowadays? Like, oh, I'm sending my kid to get tested because they might have ADD. No, they're probably just bored kids. And they're probably overwhelmed with all of the information that they're getting nowadays. That's why they can't concentrate, because their brain is so hyper-stimulated, they are bored when they're told to sit down and concentrate at school. Oh no, they've got a disorder. No, they don't have a disorder. They are being exposed to problems that, frankly, they shouldn't be. No one is in charge. No one's in charge. No one is standing and saying, look, this is bad for our kids. This is wrong. No one's doing it. Nobody is doing it. It's quite simple. It's like we're all on a ship. There's no captain. There's no navigator. It's just floating in a particular direction because someone pointed it in that direction and they were like, tee hee hee, watch it go. No one's in charge. This is where it gets interesting, because we have to be in charge. We have to get in charge, okay? That's the way of solving this. People who know what's going on have to stop whining and griping upwards to people saying, you've got to fix this, and they need to literally start fixing it themselves, okay? I'm included in this. I will do and try to do everything I can to approach problems from the perspective of fixing them overall, because trying to get people to fix problems who shouldn't be in the positions that they're in doesn't work. It simply doesn't work, because they are put there only because they're obeying this New World Order garbage. So all of the people you think are leaders, they're not leaders. They're not leaders. A leader is someone who's actually responsible. All you see is politicians, and politicians are simply puppets. Even if they were authentically looking out for the interests of their own party instead of just being beholden to these New World Order people, they would still be not reliable. You need people who genuinely care, who want things to be right, and who are worth their position of leadership. Now, these New World Order people, these one world government people, want you to hate people who act that way. Now, I don't care about Putin. I've no desire to see him do anything other than sit and do what he wants to do. If he messes with England directly, then we've got a problem. But the point is that if you look at what he's doing, he's simply looking out for his country. He's a leader, right? You can tell me what you like. Oh, he's so evil. I don't care. Until he comes and does something to me, I don't care, right? As far as I can see, I'm sorry for Ukraine, but as far as I can make out, it's their problem. I know why we're stepping in, but I'm not going to sit and look at Putin and be like, you're evil. No, he's just a leader. And if we want to combat or stand up against anyone, we've got to be strong. We need strong leadership. And we can't have strong leadership if everyone's sitting there going, oh no, so-and-so said this and blah, blah, blah. We can't run a country that way. And that's what we've been reduced to. And they've been reduced to that because our leadership has been undermined by these New World Order scumbags who want our country weak so it can be subservient to their one world government, which is all behind the scenes. This is what's really happening in your world day by day. Now, with regards to technology, the problem is that this ethic of being reliant and being dependent and having no one in charge and no one's accountable and no one can be criticized means that people who are designing technological things are either blind to what they're doing and not receptive to the public that they serve if they're producing software of any description, or they're being stopped from doing the right thing by people who are manipulating them. So imagine yourself in the position of a group who are trying to create a one world government. What would you do? Would you allow massive technological opportunities to go floating around uncontrolled? No, you wouldn't. You would get yourself involved in them and try and control them. At the moment, we have several big technological companies, right? The idea that they are not sitting at the same table as these New World Order people is beyond ridiculous, okay? So you can't get what you want the way you used to be able to get it, because the companies which are providing you what you're getting, there's an agenda behind them. I mean, if you do a little bit of research, you'll find that most companies are under the umbrella of about three massive corporations anyway. And it's not just a case of, oh yeah, hate the corporations. No, it's a case of we need leadership in our countries again. Decent leadership. And that leadership carries with it a responsibility and also a danger, okay? And that danger is that someone might want to knock you off. That's how the world is. That's reality. In our culture, we have a situation whereby everyone's afraid. They've been made into weak little wimps. And the truth is that if you want a country of any strength, if you want a society of any strength, you have to have people in positions of responsibility who are willing to ultimately, potentially, put their lives on the line. You can't have these slimy, kind of fake people who are just there because they won't say no to the big New World Order scumbags. We need a society which is working for us. I know this is kind of a bit of a nebulous sort of monologue that I'm going on now, but it is true. Okay, we really need to fix our entire society top to bottom. It all went wrong after 9/11, because that, whatever your views on it, was used as the opportunity that these guys were waiting for, and frankly I think they did it, but even if not, the fact is that they were waiting for it, and then they were like, okay, we can now do away with people thinking that they have any real notion of control or influence over their own governments, and we'll just tell them all to shut up. We'll try and make them all stupid, try and make them feel powerless, and then we've got control. And that's what these guys, that's what their agenda is. Okay? Just use your brains, look up this stuff. They want you distracted. That's why television screens have gone the size of entire houses to try and occupy people's minds, because they want you distracted and stupid and controllable and sick and demoralized and confused. That's what these people are doing intentionally. That's why you can't easily find stuff on the internet anymore, because yeah, on one hand, oh, it's the algorithm trying to help you, but it's also directing you away from avenues which were wide open in the past, where you could easily access information on this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's up to people as individuals to try to wake themselves up and get busy fixing this society. Okay, it doesn't take everybody, because most people follow anyway. It just takes enough people. So people ought not to be demoralized. They ought not to feel alone. They're not. Many people see what's going on, and we can fix this. It's only a nasty little group of people who want a one world government that are trying to ruin everything for everyone else so that they can get what they want. And they must be stopped, and they shall be stopped, and they know it. They're just playing for time. So we need to abandon the idea of globalization completely. They're going to try and keep trying it, but we need to abandon it, and we fight it by having strong countries. That means we need leadership in our country, and that leadership can come from anywhere. Okay? Don't be afraid to be a leader. You can be a leader. If you know something's right, stand for it, pursue it, make it happen. Anyone can do that. They can choose to do that. And you can even force changes at a higher level if you just lead the way. If you're like, no, that's wrong, and you stand for it, a lot of the time you can actually make the change, because the weak-willed people who should have been making the change haven't done it. So we need to stop relying upon technology for everything, put it all away, and just go back to how things were about 20 to 25 years ago, because they were perfectly fine. It was pretty technologically advanced as it was. All this extra stuff you don't need. It's just distracting fluff and nonsense, and while you're distracted, these people are getting away with some pretty bad stuff. So if you put down the distracting nonsense, step away from the media, step away from the technology, and do things for yourself. People can't even reverse their cars nowadays because they've forgotten how, because computers are doing it for them. They've all got these screens. Wake up, guys. Let go of the technology. Just let go of it and be adults again. Be people. Be real people. That's how we get this sorted.